morning, sir. Namaskaram, sir.
Good morning. Welcome to today's mock interview. Please introduce yourself.
Thank you, sir. Good morning, sirs. Sir, my name is Jagat Sai. I am from Gundugolanu, a village in West Godavari district of Andhra Pradesh. I have done my schooling in the twin districts of Godavari region, that is East Godavari and West Godavari. Post that, I went on to do my mechanical engineering from a rich city in Tamil Nadu, Vellore, in VIT University. Post that, I worked for 9 months in Wipro Technologies in Chennai, sir. After that, I resigned my job and started preparing for civil services. In my free time, my hobbies include I sing patriotic songs, which are very close to my heart. I also watch documentaries on tribes of India, and I also play cricket, sir.
Okay, interesting journey from mechanical engineering to anthropology as your optional subject, and with interest in watching films on Indian tribes. So, how many documentaries have you seen about the Indian tribes?
Sir, I don't have the count, sir, but definitely more than 60 to 70 documentaries I have watched.
Are they on YouTube, or where do you find them?
Yes, sir. I watch them on YouTube, and also there is another website named Daily Motion, where the freelancing documentaries on tribes are uploaded.
Daily Motion.
Yes, sir.
I see. Okay, so which of the tribes have you studied, whose lifestyle you find very interesting?
Sir, the Andamanese tribe of Andaman and Nicobar Islands is very interesting, sir. The way they have interacted with the mainstream population and their tribal way of living has changed substantially. And only one person among the 19 tribes that are alive today could speak Hindi and interact with the outside world. So that is a very good learning when I listen to him, sir.
But there is one tribe which keeps itself totally, secluded from the rest of the world.
Yes, sir.
Which is?
Sentinelese tribe, sir.
Sorry, Sentinelese.
Yes, sir.
I see. So they have no inclination to join the mainstream.
Yes, sir. Whenever we try to interact with them, they react very violently. So we are following the policy of eyes on, hands off, that we are just observing them and not trying to invoke their feelings.
Oh, well, there was an anthropologist in our history who believed in this policy of leaving them alone, leaving all the tribals of India to follow their own lifestyle and not meddle with their affairs. Who was he?
Sir, it was Verrier Elwin, sir.
Okay, great. What else do you know about Verrier Elwin? Where did he come from?
Sir, he was originally an Austrian, but he has the British citizenship. He came to India as a part of missionary, and later he also got attracted with the Indian way of living and Indian values, and he also supported our freedom fighters during the British rule. During his stint with our freedom struggle leaders, he also started interacting with the tribals and developed this policy of isolationism. However, in the later part of his life, he also moved along with the vision of our Honorable First Prime Minister Jawaharlal Nehru ji, and accepted integration as the right policy for tribals going forward.
What do you think? Should they be left to themselves, or should they be integrated?
Sir, we cannot have a uniform one-size-fits-all approach for all the tribals, sir. We need to understand the history and the past and present of the tribes. For example, if we see the scenario of Sentinelese, still they are not ready to interact with the mainstream population. So for some time we need to give them time and make them accept how the outsiders are interacting. But the rest of the tribes are more or less integrated almost, and according to the degree of integration we can interact with them accordingly, sir.
Mr. Elvin married a tribal girl. So to which tribe did she belong?
I'm very sorry, sir. I do not know this aspect. I will learn about it, sir.
Okay. He actually married twice, and both the times to tribal women. You may like to read about that also. That's very interesting. And do you know he wrote an autobiography?
I'm not aware of that, sir. I'm sorry.
Okay. The tribal world of Warrior Elvin. You
Yes,
may
sir.
like to read about. He also studied the tribes of Northeast India. Uh, are you aware that he focused on a certain part of Northeast India more than others?
Yes, sir.
Which was that part?
Sir, Northeast Frontier Agency, which includes the Assam, Arunachal Pradesh, and Nagaland area.
And what is that area called now?
Sir, I'm not aware of that, sir.
Okay. He also studied a certain institution of tribe from central India, which is Madhya Pradesh, which is very interesting, which is about how to deal with young people and their social. What was that system?
Sir, the institutions are youth dormitories, sir, wherein the young people come and stay together apart, away from their parents. And these institutions also impart certain kind of social, sexual, and other cultural education among them.
Are you also aware that a number of tribes were once called criminal tribes?
Yes, sir.
Can you name a few of them?
Yes, sir.
Please.
Sir, Gondari in Andhra Pradesh. Sir, I'm sorry, sir. I do not know the other names. I forgot the names actually. I'm sorry, sir.
Okay. They were governed by a certain act, which was legislated by the British.
Yes, sir.
And which we dispensed with later. What
Yes,
was that act?
Sir, Criminal Tribes Act 1871.
And when was it abandoned?
Sir, in 1951, we came up with Habitual Offenders Act.
Okay, very good. Rajiv ji?
Yes. Yes. Good morning, Jagat.
Good morning, sir.
So you have an interest in watching documentaries on Indian tribes.
Yes, sir.
That's very interesting. It's also very enriching.
Thank you, sir.
What is your knowledge about the Jorwa tribes? How much can you tell us about the Jorwas?
Yes, sir. Sir, these Jarwa tribes are located in Andaman and Nicobar Islands. They are one of the 5 primitive vulnerable tribal groups in that region. Sir, initially they were very secluded from away from the mainstream population. However, with the development of an important highway project in that area, the mainstream population started interacting with them, and today they are integrated with the mainstream population, sir. However, there are concerns that they are still looked at as a museum species, and that should be avoided.
But there were some steps taken by the government to not to get into their privacy. What was it, and what was the result of it?
Yes, sir. Sir, whenever these tourists who visit that region, they start looking and taking photographs and interacting with them and playing with them. This amounted to violating their privacy and also looking at them as some other species away from other than humans. So the government has restricted this interaction to respect their privacy. And as a consequence, sir, there is also a lack of access to healthcare and education for them because of this isolation, because of this seclusion from the mainstream population.
What is their reaction? Do they want to get integrated or they want to keep aloof?
Sir, I'm not aware of that, sir. I didn't watch that particularly.
Because you did mention Centhalese,
Yes.
and Jorwas also you need to read about. They also wish to keep themselves aloof.
Yes.
Okay. Now about the what is the concept of ecological anthropology?
Sir, according to this school of thought, every culture evolves on the terms and conditions of the ecology in which they are present. The kind of ecology, for example, if a culture is present in forest area, their culture and their cultural practices and traditions revolve around worshipping the trees that are existing in that forest area. Similarly, if a culture is in desert area, they worship the camels. So every culture and their traditions are interrelated with the ecology and environment that is surrounding them. That is what ecological anthropology deals with, sir.
Okay, Jagat, tell me, what were the targets that were set by bifurcating Andhra Pradesh and into Telangana and two states? What were the targets? What were the expectations, and have they been able to achieve?
Sir, the demand for separation of Andhra Pradesh in 2014 were primarily based on three factors, which are Neeru, Nidhulu, and Niyamakalu in Telugu. In English, it means Neeru is water, Nidhulu means finances, and Niyamakalu are jobs. Except for the part of water, for which both the states are today fighting between each other, the rest two aspects are more or less accomplished, sir. If we see about the finances, the per capita income of Telangana has doubled from 2014 till today. And even Andhra Pradesh, it has improved 1.5 times. Even on the governance parameters, both the states are doing very good in ease of doing business and attracting investments. However, the only area where there are certain concerns is water sharing, especially the interstate river water disputes, sir.
But by and large, looking at it on the wider canvas of the country, our smaller states lead to better optimum utilization of the resources, or they are a waste, creation of small states?
Sir, since 2000 till now, whatever states got divided from the bigger states, we had a mixed response, sir. For example, if we see the Telangana and Andhra bifurcation, I feel that it benefited both the regions. But if we see the areas like Chhattisgarh and Jharkhand, which got separated, we did not reach the targets as we expected to reach. So we need to take a case by case to case basis analysis with respect to every state, and we cannot give a blanket statement about this setup, sir.
You are now with a very promising company. You are with the Wipro now.
Sir, I have resigned, sir.
You have resigned from Wipro. Okay, you said so.
Yes.
So from there, have you felt disillusion with the private company, private sector, or is it that you got motivated to take on larger responsibilities? What was it that motivated you to shift your focus towards the government?
Sir, I was very much satisfied with the work that I was doing in Wipro Technologies, and I was very proud also in working such a reputed organization, sir. but the career choice in civil services was back in my mind 1 year before I was even joining the civil Wipro organization. So, but I took some time and worked for certain time, and only after I convinced myself that I can compete in this tough competitive examination, I have resigned and started preparing, sir. And I wanted to take this larger responsibility and leadership roles in civil services.
But that you could have got in Wipro itself. It's a huge company. There's a lot of scope for budding engineers. But anyway, one more question on this. Where is your educational background? Was it optimally getting utilized as a mechanical engineer? Were you comfortable? I mean, were your skill sets getting utilized in Wipro? Or the computer engineers there are better off? I mean, how is
Sir, it was not core mechanical job that I was doing in Wipro, sir. It is a data handling job, which involves more of coordination and communication with the clients, and more business process re-engineering aspects that we do.
But is it part of mechanical engineering?
No, sir.
Godavari, I remember I had seen a film by the name of Godavari. Have you seen it?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Who was the director of the film?
Sir, Shekhar Kamula.
And it was inspired by which movie of which year?
I'm sorry, sir. I did not get
It was inspired by which movie?
I'm sorry, sir. I do not know.
Okay. About the rise and fall of Naxalism. What are the reasons for the rise and fall of Naxalism in AP?
Sir, with respect to the rise of Naxalism in Andhra Pradesh, the major factor is the land failure of the land reforms, such as eviction of the land ceilings and also non-recognition of the tribals' rights on the forest lands. With respect to the fall of Naxalism, sir, Andhra Pradesh has a multi-pronged approach to deal with Naxalism, especially in creating a dedicated force which is named as Greyhounds, and also in developing the backward regions such as tribal areas through tribal subplan, and ensuring good intelligence about the movement of Naxalites. And good surrender and rehabilitation policy was also enacted by the government in late 1990s, and that ultimately led to the fall of Naxalism in Andhra Pradesh, sir.
Okay. What is the blue economy? Blue economy?
Sir, it is a sustainable use of the marine resources and the marine ecosystem that we have, especially the sea-based ecosystem, and generating economy based on that, sir.
Tell me one small doubt I had on the different fuels used in the IC engines. What are the different kinds of fuels that are used?
Sir, we use diesel. We also use gasoline, that is petrol.
Which is least pollutant between the two? Which is lesser pollutant?
Sir, petrol is less pollutant, sir.
Why is the electric vehicle not taking off? What are the difficulties the industry is encountering?
Sir, the primary factor is the lack of charging infrastructure that we do not have in our country, and secondly, we also do not have the battery storage technologies to manufacture electric vehicles. And thirdly, sir, these electric vehicles need frequent charging and long hours of charging, and there is no certainty for long drives. So because of that, there is no major pickup in electric vehicle sales, sir.
The Honorable Prime Minister has made an announcement about e-rupee. What is it, and how will it influence the economy? How will it spur the economy?
Sir, it is a digital platform which transacts in the digital rupee, which are backed by physical cash. And it is a step closer towards achieving our dream of having cryptocurrency approved by the central bank. and it helps our economy by facilitating more digital transactions and also minimizing the leakages in subsidies, and that is how it brings efficiency in the administration, sir.
Tell me, Jagat, the farmers have a concern here. They are now at the borders of Delhi for the last over maybe 6 months. Tell me, how would you, if you were suppose either in the police or in the civil administration, were confronted with this problem, how would you handle it?
Sir, sir, can I take 5 seconds?
Yes, please
Thank
do.
you. Thank you very much, sir. Sir, can I proceed, sir?
Yes.
Thank you, sir. Sir, we are very empathetic about the farmer situation, about their concerns about the recent farm loss. However, sir, it is this long protest for over 6 months is also causing trouble to farmers themselves. Many people have lost their lives staying in these borders due to excessive cold and old age issues, and also due to COVID. So firstly, I will try to persuade them that it is for their own benefit that they need to move to their homes, and but still at the same time can engage with the government on table about their apprehensions. So as a district magistrate or as an SP, I will try to make sure that this transition from these Delhi borders to their home places is smooth, and persuade them and tell them, give them assurance that their apprehensions will definitely be understood and solved by the government. But this is not the way that they need to protest. This is how I will try to persuade them, sir.
Yes, but will you not tell them that on the orders of the Honorable Supreme Court, the laws have been kept in abeyance? So now, what is the point in agitating?
Sir, the farmers have taken a hard stand that all the 3 farm laws have to be revoked altogether, which is unlikely to happen. So because of that tough stand taken by them, they are not moving away from that.
Okay, tell me one last question on this. It was this issue of agricultural reforms in India was discussed in a foreign parliament, at least one of them. What was the reaction of India to this, Government of India?
Sir, this issue is completely an internal issue of India, and there is it also amounts to violation of our sovereignty and territorial integrity, sovereignty of our country. So it is not in good terms with India's relations with the foreign country, which I think is Canada, sir.
Did it also get discussed in the UK Parliament?
I'm sorry, sir, I'm not aware of it. I will look into it.
What is the difficulty UK is facing in coming out of the Brexit?
Sir, being in the European Union, the UK had many advantages like free movement of people across the borders in the European Union. In terms of investments attraction also, it used to have some benefits. And in terms of the free trade agreements that the European had with other countries. So coming out of Brexit, Britain is going to lose this, but at the same time, it is also giving it another opportunity to renegotiate and come up with a whole new comprehensive policies with other countries and internal policies.
Okay. My last question will be from Anthro. Tell me, what has been the impact of the development programs of the government and the welfare programs on the tribes?
Sir, the impact is very mixed in nature. There are positive impacts as well as negative impacts, sir. Coming to the positive impacts right from our independence in 1947 till now, if we see the whole social and economic parameters of the scheduled tribes have improved a lot. For example, taking literacy alone, in 1947, the literacy rate among scheduled tribes was 10%, and today we have it at 59%. Similarly, in terms of other parameters like maternal mortality rate, infant mortality rate, and employment opportunities, they have increased to a certain extent. Having said that, there are certain negative impacts as well. For example, whenever we try to acquire any kind of land from them and promote industrialization in the interior areas where there are projects and mines located, for example, in the central Indian part, there is a large scale eviction and displacement of people and acquisition of their land. And because of that, there has been increased landlessness among tribals because of these developmental projects. So I see, sir, overall, there is a mixed impact.
Yeah. One more question that I forgot to ask you about Naxalism. From where does the Naxalism derive its name?
Sir, the Naxalbari village in West Bengal was the root cause of this name, sir.
Okay, yeah, very good. My last one small intervention. Tell me, how does anthropology aid an understanding of communalism?
Sir, anthropology understands the structural elements of every society. And with respect to the communalism, every religion has their own set of rules and regulations and the practices. So whenever these rules and regulations were over encroached by other religions and other sentiments, the emotions and ethnic sentiments of the people gets flared up, and that is when we see these communal clashes. And anthropology tries to understand these sentiments, and where to draw a red line is where anthropology can help in understanding communalism, sir.
But why have not theories come out due to which the communal classes can be curtailed or at least belittled? Why have we not been able to bring out some theories, some hardcore theories based on which communal classes can be reduced?
Sir, especially anthropology is an emerging domain, and still it is evolving, sir. So because of that, we do not have rich theories with respect to understanding communalism. And communalism is also a very dynamic and evolving flashpoint between various communities, and it needs thorough research and study. So that takes some time, sir.
Very well answered. Thank you. Arvind Mohan Saab. Thank you, Jagat.
Thank you, sir.
So good morning, Jagat.
Good morning, sir.
Very nice to see that you are very fond of patriotic songs.
Yes, sir.
There is a very famous patriotic song, "Ae Mere Watan Ke Logo." Have you heard that?
Sorry, sir. I know Telugu patriotic songs in Telugu, not in Hindi.
Not in Hindi.
Yes,
okay. It's sung by Lata Mangeshkar ji.
Yes, I heard about that
famous,
song. Yes.
Very famous. Okay, you work with the Wipro. It's founded by whom?
Sir, Azim Premji.
Can you tell me something about Azim Premji?
Yes, sir. Sir, Azim Premji was born in a Gujarati family, and he went on to do his education from Stanford University, between which he dropped out from that and started taking this Wipro organization. And he expanded Wipro into a lot of products, right from started in refinery oil products till today. It is in various dealing with various products like information technology and electrical appliances, etc. And in the recent past, he is also known for his philanthropy and also his pledge towards the Giving Pledge initiative taken by Warren Buffett and Bill Gates. And he is one among the top philanthropists in India, along with Ratan Tata ji.
Nice. Now you have knowledge of mechanical engineering, you have knowledge of anthropology.
Yes, sir.
Now, once you become a civil servant,
Yes, sir.
how is this knowledge going to help you perform better than others as a civil servant?
Sir, I consider this experience as a unique quality in myself. For example, being a mechanical engineer, I would be able to see and look at things more objective in nature, applying logic in whatever decision we take, and analyzing the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats of every aspect, whether it is policies or regions. As well as, since I have this a background of anthropology also, I will be able to understand the sociological reality and the way the people react according to their own cultural sensitivities. So this mixed bag of having logic, objectivity, and also having awareness about the social reality will give me a unique edge when compared to others, sir, in administration.
Nice. And what do you know about demographic dividend?
Sir, for example, in India, we have around 60% of our population between the age of 15 to 59 age group, which is a very productive age group, which contributes to the economy through workforce. So through this, we will be able to reap the dividends, sir, in terms of contributing to our economy. And we are in that demographic dividend phase today, sir.
Till what time this advantage will be available to us?
Sir, there are various reports which say that we will have this till 2041, and certain reports also say that it will exist till 2047.
Okay. But are we really reaping the benefits?
Sir, we are reaping it, sir, but not 100%. There are certain areas where we lack, especially the areas of skill development of our youth, and we need to work on that. And I'm very happy to say that the government of India is also trying to reap this dividend to its fullest potential by improving the skills of our youth through skill development, establishment of skill development ministry also.
Now, what are the other stages of this demographic transition?
Sir, if we see the transitionary path of the Western countries, the next phase would be more aging society, sir, where the majority of the population will go 60 plus and 50 plus, and for that will be the next phase, sir.
But before that, we have gone through two phases. You know what are those two phases?
Yes, sir. Sir, the first phase is where we have high births and high death rates, and because of that we have very less population, and post that, due to improvement in the technology and food security, we have high birth rates and low death rates. And today we are in demographic dividend, and we will be in future we will be in the fourth phase.
Okay. Yesterday, Prime Minister launched an initiative, e-Rupee.
Yes, sir.
Can you tell me something about that?
Yes, sir. Sir, e-Rupee is a digital platform where we can facilitate the digital transactions in a digital area, and it is a step closer to realizing this central bank's digital currency in virtual currency aspect. And sir, it is perceived to minimize the transaction losses and also leakages, especially in subsidy disbursement, especially in the government area, sir.
Could you explain to me how does it work?
Sir, I'm sorry, I do not have full clarity on this. I have to read more on it, sir.
Okay. You were talking about digital currency.
Yes, sir.
So, could you tell me what is RBI doing about that, and what other countries are doing?
Yes, sir. Sir, we have these virtual currencies like private virtual currencies like Bitcoin and Ethereum, because of which there are certain concerns for every sovereign nation, and around 86 central banks around the world are trying to research and develop new virtual currencies which are sovereign in nature. For example, China has also launched e-renminbi on a pilot basis, and a country called El Salvador in Central America has accepted Bitcoin as a legal tender. So because of that, the Central Bank of India, that is RBI, is currently in deliberating about launching our own digital currency, and to curb the security aspects related to the private Bitcoins like Bitcoin and Ethereum.
Why are governments so much against almost all central banks, and they are against these currencies, the Bitcoins, Ethereum? Why? What is the reason?
Sir, there are many concerns related to these private Bitcoins. Sir, first is the high volatility of price of these currencies, and secondly, they can also be misused in terms of terror financing and money laundering. And thirdly, it can also pose threat to the legal tenders of countries like India, which can collapse sometimes the economy as well. Because of these reasons, the central banks all over the world are apprehensive about these private Bitcoins.
But Reserve Bank of India did ban these currencies.
Yes,
What
sir.
happened after that?
Sir, after that, the Honorable Supreme Court has asked the Reserve Bank not to ban them, but to regulate them. And the Reserve Bank of India is now trying to come up with the modalities to regulate and launch its own digital currency.
No, but is it possible to regulate these currencies?
Sir, it is almost difficult to regulate them, sir, because they are backed by these centralized distributed ledger technology, and they cannot be regulated by the central banks. So there are certain trade-offs that we need to take when it comes to this, and the Reserve Bank of India is working on that, sir.
Now, underlying technology, as you said, was that distributed ledger, or what we call as another name for that.
Sir, blockchain technology.
Blockchain technology. The
Yes.
technology per se is very good.
Yes, sir.
So, are we finding some applications for that technology?
Yes, sir. We can use that in many areas, especially in administration also. For example, we have this in rural areas. We have the problem of land records digitization, and we can definitely use the blockchain technology in encrypting these land records so that they do not get manipulated at the ground level.
Nice. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
So your interview is over. Now we'll start with the feedback.
Thank you, sir.
Jagat,
Sir.
May I request you, for the permission of the chair, to again re-enter your room, because I saw some incongruity in your entrance. I mean, in your wishing or greeting the board. So can you please re-enter the room so that we observe your full drill as to how you enter and how you greet the board and you take a seat. Can you do it, please?
Yes, sir.
And before that, please remove this blur so that we can see you entering.
Sir, actually the entrance is this way, just
So can
behind
you turn the
You can
camera?
turn it to that side and at the same time remove the blur so that it is clearly visible.
Sure, sir. Sir, I'll just adjust my.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
yeah,
please.
please use so.
Please. चली गई थी
May I come in, sir?
Please come in. Please come in.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Good
Please
morning,
sit down.
sir.
Please sit down.
Thank you, sir.
One small error, Jagat.
Sir,
You forgot to close the door behind you.
sir, I will do it, sir.
Yeah, because
Yes,
that
sir.
day also you have to knock on the door first, open the door, not fully, half ajar, and then say, "May I come in, sir?" And then somebody will say, "Please come in." Then you turn, close the door behind you, walk up to the chair confidently, and say, "Good morning, sir," to the chairperson, and "Good morning, sirs," to the other board members. And only when asked to sit, you sit. If you are not asked to sit, do not sit.
Sure, sir.
If the chairperson is a lady, obviously you will say good morning, ma'am or madam, and good morning, sirs, and then wait for further instructions, right?
Yes, sir.
Remember, this is very important. This whole drill is very important.
Yes, sir.
So now, Rajiv ji, with
Yes,
your feedback.
sir. And Jagat, I also observed, and you will see when you revisit the recording, that when you entered last time, you did a namaste as well as a good morning. So I think one of the two would be sufficient.
Yes, sir.
Okay, yeah.
Yes, sir.
That's a very small observation. Okay, now on the contents, you were updated on everything, including the news item appearing on e-rupee, everything. Just two small observations, Jagat. One is that in the UK Parliament, this issue came up. The agricultural reforms in India came up and was discussed in the UK Parliament, and the government of India did summon the High Commissioner of UK to India, Mr. Alex, I think, can you just read to it? And they handed over a note of protest to the High Commissioner, requesting him to, follow the protocols in such matters. The correct usage of the form of communication is, I think, the marsh. Sir, you will correct me if I am gone wrong.
The marsh.
The marsh.
The
So that was
marsh.
the march. So that was the form of communication in which the protest of the government of India to the incident that happened in the UK Parliament on 8th March 2021 was handed over. That is one. The other thing is I will request you, I will advise you to do some more readings on, I didn't put a question on that, but your journey, from a mechanical engineer to taking up a subject in the
Anthropology.
the purely nothing to do with mechanical engineering per se, but just some formulation of a question on this may be put to you. So please prepare yourself on this. Number one. Number two, more on Godavari. And of course, I just put a question to you on the documentary because you've said documentaries. Of course, you've said on tribe, but I thought that let me ask you a question on documentaries. You did answer correctly that it was directed by Shekhar, but the film that had inspired this was another film. I've seen both of them in Hindi, one in English, one in Hindi translation, dubbings, and that was Andala Ramudu. Andala Ramudu. I don't know how you pronounce it, but it is Andala Ramudu. That's how I saw it. Very interesting. It's a 1973 film. So 1973 film. And the two central characters in the film, Godavari, were, if you must be knowing, Ram and Sita. That is the two characters on which the entire film was based. So I just thought I'll share this with you because I also share a concern. I very deep interest in watching documentaries, especially these type of documentaries and films. So all the best, Jagat.
Thank you.
Arvind Mohan Saab, take over.
Jagat, it was a very good interaction that we had with you. You were able to answer almost all the questions correctly, and more importantly, in the right way. The manner in which you answer the question is also very important.
Yes, sir.
You answered them correctly and rightly.
Thank you, sir.
So that is good. And regarding e-rupee, read something more because it is introduced yesterday only.
Yes, sir. I will
It
read on
is
it, sir.
it is more like a gift voucher, prepaid gift voucher.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And the purpose for which it can be used is also fixed in advance.
Yes, sir.
You cannot take that and spend it anywhere to buy anything.
Yes, sir.
So, what the government is trying to ensure is that the money which is given is utilized for the purpose for which it is meant, and also by the person to whom it is given, not by somebody else.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So they are trying to plug the loopholes in the subsidies that we provide.
Yes,
So
sir.
they are trying to plug all those loopholes through this. So
Yes.
it is a precursor to digital currency, as you said. Yes,
Yes, sir.
it is being seen like that only. Okay,
Yes, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
nice. So now Chairman Saab will give his views.
Okay, Jagat, before I give my feedback, how do you rate your performance today?
Sir, I feel that I have performed decently, and if you can provide some feedback and improvement, I will definitely work on them, sir.
Okay. So the feedback is that I think you are an outstanding candidate.
Thank you, sir.
The quality that struck me the most is your poise. You're so well poised, you're so calm and composed, and so that makes you stand out from the other candidates that we have interviewed earlier. You are really and you are very well informed in almost all the areas. Of course, there is no end to how much a person can know. You can always improve upon your knowledge, whether it's about the tribes or whether it's about anthropology, mechanical engineering, Andhra, its various issues, the carving out of Telangana from Andhra Pradesh, and the outcomes, etc. So you can continue to read on these things. Also read a bit more about the current affairs, especially about government schemes and recent government schemes, and also the schemes that have been introduced by your own government in Andhra Pradesh. Quite a few schemes have been introduced by the present CM. And another question that is very likely is about Amravati, about your capital, the project that was initiated and was later abandoned, and why it was abandoned and all. So, you should be very sure of all the facts and whether it was a good idea to start the project, whether it was a good idea to abandon it, and where you stand on the subject, etc. So that is another area to maybe asked on. Overall, we are all very satisfied with you, and keep up. And we are very sure that you will come out successful. What is it that you're going to wear on the final day?
Sir, I will wear a blue suit, sir. I have actually given it for dry cleaning, so I could not wear it today.
Okay, and I hope you're going to shave.
Yes, sir. I will shave, sir.
Yeah, you must shave and look nicely groomed. You can, put your hair a little back if it can go.
Yes, sir.
Not on your forehead. And maybe this is your natural style, or maybe this is how your hair falls. But nonetheless, you will do well to, comb it back a bit.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
And otherwise, I'm deeply impressed. And if there's any other question you wish to ask of us,
Sir, there is no specific question, sir. I just want to ask if you have to rate me out of 275, how would I be rated?
I'll rate you around 7, but you have the potential of reaching 8.5 very easily. Very easily. You know,
Yes, sir.
you are in the range of 7 plus. But I don't want to give you, make you too complacent and too over satisfied with yourself. So I'm reserving my evaluation to 7, around 7. But you have the potential to easily touch 8.5 plus, right?
Sure,
So
sir. I will work on it, sir.
Yeah, we wish you all the best.
Thank you, sir. Sir, I just have one doubt about the question you have asked about where your Elvin's work in Northeast area and what those areas are called now.
It was earlier called NIFA,
Yes, sir.
and now it is called Arunachal Pradesh.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
Okay, and he studied the tribes of there, and in fact, most of the understanding of the people of NIFA that the government had at that time was based on his works.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Yes, sir.
and the institution of Gotul or
Yes,
Gotul, that I think the tribe is Bagas, if not the Gonds.
Muria Gonds, sir.
Sorry, Odia Gonds.
Muria Gonds, yes.
Okay, so Gotul, but Gotul is practiced in other tribes also. I mean, so Gotul is a very unique concept, and interestingly, I have served in Arunachal Pradesh. I found it being practiced even there
Yes, sir.
in some of the tribes. So they have a very healthy approach towards puberty and the growing up, and they are not so kind of big prudes like we are in the rest of India. They accept the fact that young people should mix around, and they should be allowed to mix. So the system of Gotul, young boys and young girls can meet, they can select each other, get married, and so on and so forth. So that is the whole concept, right?
Yes, sir.
So all the best. May God bless you.
Thank you very much, sir.
Bye.
All the best, Jagat.
Thank you, sir.
Well,
Okay, Jagat, all the best.
Thank you very
Thank you.
much. Thank you, sir.